Hello guys, welcome back to your channel Data Guy, and I'm your host Data Guy. I'm very excited to be making this video today, which is about introduction to SQL, or the structured query language. So far we have been making videos and doing these tutorials about the basic Microsoft Excel functions, such as VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, etc. And now it's time to take your data skills to the next level. You heard me saying in the start of when I start my YouTube journey that our goal will be starting from basic and then transitioning into intermediate and then advanced levels. Although there are thousands and thousands of functions, features, and formulas when it comes to Microsoft Excel, so it's not that we have covered everything. We have covered some of the basic ones that you would be needing from the data analysis perspective. There are a lot more things to learn about Microsoft Excel. But so I thought maybe it's a good time to start transitioning slowly towards the next level, which will be introducing the SQL, or the structured query language. And then we'll come back to some of the later on videos to some Microsoft Excel, but at the same time we're progressing towards our next level in our data analysis. So this is why I'm very excited to be talking about this video. And the you will see once we learn today what this SQL is, and some of the, it's not that you will master SQL today. It's not that you'll have 100% every single understanding of SQL. No, but we will start from here and we'll discuss some of the basics functions, and then we'll try to do is kind of like a comparison between Microsoft Excel, some of the things that you do in Excel, and then how you can take the same thing to the next level by using SQL and take your the data analysis game to a next level. And that's what this whole video is about. So let's get ready to move beyond spreadsheets and into the world of databases. So that's what this is about. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping you guys are too. So let's dive into it. So first of all, just a brief quick introduction to SQL, Structured Query Language. What is it? Like we just said, what SQL stands for. But it's a standard language used to manage and manipulate data in relational databases. Then I put that into some bold letters, because if you're really new, you may be even thinking, what is a relational database? So a relational database is a structured collection of data organized into tables with rows and columns. It uses relations. So you'll find how to talk to basically to each table. You may have a data in one table, certain data, and you have certain data into another table. Now when you need to retrieve those two, how would you do it? So you have to have some kind of relation, and that's what really the relational databases and tables means here in a nutshell, really. All right. So it allows users to store, retrieve, modify, and delete data efficiently. So why would somebody will say, why learn SQL? I'm already good at in Excel, because it handles large data sets. Unlike Excel, SQL can process millions of records without slowing down. So if you are one of those people who at this moment in your work life or even in personal life, you handle and you play with lots of rows of data in Excel, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when your Excel either freezes up, or your efficiency, your performance slows down when you're trying to do a formula. Let's imagine if you have a million row data set. You may think, oh wow, million rows, when would I ever need this? But if you are in a true data analysis type of job function, it is not that uncommon that you'll be dealing with that sets big amount of data. So it is very what's the right word, very common, and it's nothing something unheard of. So this is where you will see you can use SQL to process millions of records without slowing down. Data automation. Another thing is, a lot of time you've heard automation, all those manual steps that you do, what you can do to bring the efficiency up and save times and do automation. That this is also where you will see SQL comes very handy. So it helps you extract, analyze, and manage data faster than manual processes. And it's widely used in business and tech. So obviously, if you're looking to promote in your career, you would want to equip yourself with all the tools, bells and whistles when it comes to you are ready for the job, or you're able to perform your job functions much efficiently, smart. So that's why you would also need to, because these tools are being used in all pretty much, even not only just big companies, even medium and small size companies nowadays. So SQL is essential for data analysts, business intelligence, the BI professionals, data scientists, and software engineers primarily, but anybody can literally use these if you know how to use it. Compatible with BI tools. So again, BI, business intelligence tools, work seamlessly with Power BI, Tableau, Python, Pandas for deeper analysis. And one more time, I will say, if you are in the field of data analysis or you're looking to build your career in the field of data analysis, all these tools that I just mentioned, Power BI, Tableau, Python, Pandas, other those Python libraries, etc., that you would need to equip yourself with these tools and the knowledge of these tools, how to use them, so it will come handy also. It works with multiple databases. SQL can be used in MySQL, or you heard probably this term MySQL, which is MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres SQL, Oracle, and more. And this is the beauty of this thing is, if you learn SQL, you will be seeing that all these different languages, a lot of things are similar, certain syntax difference, etc. But so you kind of modify one student from one language to the other, which are similar in these cases that we just mentioned here. So that's what this SQL is. Let's moving on to our next slide. So Excel versus SQL, why should you switch and how to get started, right? So let's see, why move from Excel to SQL? Some of the things we just mentioned: limitation of Excel, it struggles with large data sets, greater than 1 million rows, slow VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. Again, if you have not already encountered this, but you will if you have not so far. If you're doing a VLOOKUP formula and you have, let's say, I just even forget the million, let's even say 100,000 rows, let's say even 50,000 rows, you will definitely see that blue circle, circling on your Excel file, because trying to process this, and you're like, oh my God, please don't, my Excel don't crash, which a lot of times happen, and it's like one of those nightmares. You have to reopen the Excel file. If you have not saved that work, start all over again. So again, all these things that I'm talking about comes from experience over the years, and that's why I keep saying, if you have not encountered so far, trust me, you will encounter these nightmares, and this is where you will appreciate how and easy this SQL, it can make your life easier. All right, moving on forward. Sorry, I always get carried away because these things are from personal experiences, and we can just imagine, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this thing if you have been in this field. So manual data updates, advantages of SQL, handles millions of rows of efficiently, automates data processing, and faster queries and reporting. All right, so here are some of the basic SQL operations. The idea here is I'm going over these slides, explaining to them, and then we will switch to SSMS, which stands for SQL Server Management Studio. We will run some basic queries to show you how actually that works. If you have never seen an SQL before, or ever wrote a query, you will see, because if you're like me, just reading doesn't make sense. I have to see it. And this is why, I'm one of those people. Since YouTube came, I wasn't that much of a reader, but once YouTube came and things like those, where I could have a visual, I learned much more and much faster, and I was able to absorb that information instead of just by reading it. So we're going through these slides just to give you a basic understanding what these are. But as I've always said in the past, these comes with practice, practice, practice. But you can only practice if you have an idea what you're even doing it, right? So here, like I said, the basic SQL operations, select. By select, you retrieve data and it's equivalent to filtering tables. And we will see and try to make connection in a second. Where clause, when you use it, basically you're also using the where clause to filter the records, and just like you would be equivalent to in Excel would be auto filter. Order by, that's another command in SQL. It sorts results, so it's basically the sorting of in Microsoft Excel. Group by is basically it aggregates the data, just like you will be doing it in a pivot table. And this is why we covered some of those things in Microsoft Excel. So then when you are moving next level into SQL, you will see and you'll be able to see the relationship. You will be able to make those connections. At the same time, you will be able to appreciate, wow, how easily that can be done if you have the SQL, and then you can utilize the same things of some same rather I can say perform the functions, but can do it much better and more efficiently. Okay, another command is join. It basically combines the table. Essentially, it does the same thing what we do in VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP, where you have two sets of data and you're trying to find which one have one thing in common. So you can use the similar thing by joining and retrieve the data from two tables which have something in common, basically, right? Insert adds new data. So just like in Microsoft Excel, you'll go to another row to add or another column. You want to add some more data. You can use insert command and add more new data to your existing table. All right, update. It basically updates, modifies the records. So changing cell values basically. So currently if you're in Microsoft Excel, you have certain value, you need to update. Let's say you have a first name and last name. You have, let's quick example, somebody got married, they have a new last name, married name, you need to change it. So you're basically changing the cell values in Microsoft Excel. You'll be utilizing the update field to update that last name in this particular example that I just used. And then the delete function, what it does, it just like the name says, it removes the data. So it deletes the rows or columns, whatever you need to delete. Basically, delete is the function. For that purpose, you'll need to use that command. All right, here, same thing what we just talked, maybe another view of the same thing. So what are those key Excel functions and the SQL equivalent? It's pretty much the same what we just discussed, but another few more details. So if you sort the data in Microsoft Excel, you would use order by clause. If you're filtering data in Excel, you will use the where clause. Some of these aggregations, some average, count, you use the same, actually believe it or not, it's the same functions even in SQL. Pivot tables, you can use it for aggregation or by using the group by. And then if you're doing a VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP, you can attain the same thing by joining two tables. Removing duplicates, so here you would use the command distinct to get the distinct values. So you will remove basically duplicates and get the distinct values. Named ranges to views. All right, so this, let me switch to now to the SSMS, which is again stands for SQL Server Management Studio, because this is where I feel like even though I have these slides, but I may lose you. The viewer may get bored because you're like, what is this? What does it even mean? So let's see if it helps you if I switch to the SQL Server and show you the queries, the same thing in action. So you'll be able to, it will make more sense and we'll walk through over there. So let me switch the screen to SQL Server Studio. I have made this looking bigger. Let me switch the database to, all right. So what it is, I have right here, let's see, where do we start from? Before I go even there, so this is what we call the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is a tool where you can run queries. You basically build your own databases, have tables. So on the left hand side you can see, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail as far as the structure of the SQL Server Studio, etc., but to give you an idea that what you're seeing here, where is this even coming from. So in the database, you can see I have a database called Data Guy database. Within this, you can see we have tables and views. I have created two tables. So if I come here, for this particular example, for this video, I've just brought in two tables. One is called customers, one is called sales orders. And we will go into detail to explain, how it works. But for right now, just for even to have again, I'm going with these details with the understanding this, I have somebody who's brand new watching this thing, someone who have never seen a Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, somebody who have never ran a query, who have no idea about the tables and etc. So trying to give a little bit further details that will help, because if you're like me, if you only look at this thing and I just do this and run this query, you're like, what just happened? I have no idea. What is this DBO sales order? What is all this means? So that's why I'm going to a little bit more detail just to give a very quick overview about what is this. So basically what I had in this particular example, how I did, I had two spreadsheets. I created some dummy data for my purpose of this, basically what you call this thing for this video purposes. So let me just do this. If I just do this, and I'll explain it to you what exactly even means, but just for right now to explain. So if I do this, excuse me, and then I'll run this thing, what it does, basically what I just did, by this running this command right here, what it's doing is saying select, what we just learned earlier on this PowerPoint slides, basically is retrieve the data. This asterisk means all, means give me everything what is in this particular table, in this case called DBO customers, right? So, and DBO is like database owner. So what is basically when I ran this thing, here you have the results. I have a table with a column called customer ID, customer name, a region, email address, and phone numbers of those customers. That's what basically it is. So what I did, I created, in this case, 30 rows. You can see on the bottom, I'm hoping on the bottom right corner, you can see where I'm circling, that you have this 30 rows. So I've created 30 rows of dummy data into Microsoft Excel. Then I imported it. How you would import, I'm not going through the whole this particular, for this particular video, but how you do it, you come here and you will go into where you go tasks, and then you can do the import function, and that's how you will bring in the import and bring in the data for here. So that's how you would do it in this import data part, not the flat file. I mean, you can use a flat file, but that would be more of like a text file or CSV. In my case, it was an Excel, so I would use import data and follow through the steps. For this particular video, I'm not going into this thing, but at least I wanted to explain. So if somebody's brand new, then like where this table even came from. How would you? I mean, there are many ways you will build a table. In this particular case, I just use Microsoft Excel files and then brought them here. Earlier, you heard one of the advantages I mentioned, or how you make it faster, how this SQL does it faster by linking the data. So that's an example. In my case, in this particular case, I imported the data for my SQL Server, but the same way you can export it also. So you would create something and then export out. But we will look into those things later on. For this particular video function, the purpose, we are looking to very basic things to talk about. So now that you know what is this table is, basically, if I need to know, tell me everything what's this table even have, right? So if you have a similar, you can just imagine like a Microsoft Excel file. You would click it, open it, and take a look at it. What's even the data in this file? Similarly, this is exactly what you're saying. You're saying select, and the way we read it in our SQL, we call it select all. This asterisk means all. Select all, give me everything from this table, and then it gave me this part right here. Now following that, if I let's see, let me see if I can move this thing here. Oh well, okay, let's keep it this way. I'm trying to make it easier and be able to connect the dots. So viewing data like an Excel table, so you would do select all from whatever your table is. So if I go back here again, I have, one is I have a customer table and I have a sales order table. So whichever table I want to know, I would say select all and show me everything from that table. So if it was sales order table, I would bring that here, and then you highlight the area you want to run, and then you click on execute. Once you do this thing, so you can see now it's a different information. This is a table that have a sales orders. So here your data is the sale date, the day the sale happened, which region, the product, which product they bought, the quantity, the sale amount, and then the customer ID. So that's the idea here. Then filtering data. So this is where the filter, if we always do this thing, filter is by the where clause. So how you do it, you're saying, okay, in this particular example, so this example, the query I have written here, I'm saying is select everything, select all from my sales order where. I'm filtering where the sale date is greater than November 15, 2024. So when I run this thing, so if you imagine right here, when I said select all, it gave me on the right corner on the bottom 100 rows. But when I now say, okay, I only want to see the sales that had a sale date happen after 11/15. When I do this and execute my query, you can see 99 rows, just because it happened to me in this particular case, everything is 11/15 or higher. But let's say I want to say it equals to. So do I have anything that only happened on 11/15? Let's see. And there you go. Now you can see the sale date is 11/15. Only one transaction happened where I sold 9 quantities of mouse in West region with the sale amount of $508, and this was the customer ID. So I hope this makes sense. Where clause, we are filtering the data. Again, making the relationship between an Excel file and the SQL. This is, you click this thing, basically you've opened the full Excel file, looking at every single rows and columns of the data. But now you're trying to filter it. So how you would go and filter by using the filter on a Microsoft Excel. Here you're saying using the where clause. So, and then there you go, and it gives you a filter data based upon your condition you put on that filter, or in this case in the where clause. So I hope that's making sense. Now moving to next one, sorting. So here you have, right, so the sorting is equivalent by order by. This is the command you will use. So if I again, let's see, go here and click on it, and I say, let me make this thing again here this way, right? And then I ran this query. You can see it's everything, right? But now I'm saying order by, and in this I would say, let's say by quantity in this case. The reason I'm choosing quantity because you can see it's pretty much already in order. So just to make the point, let's say if I say order by quantity, and I just say descending. This is for descending, DESC. So if I run this, look what happened. So it's sorted by the quantity, the highest, because I said descending means from highest to lowest. So you can see it's doing it quantity which had the highest quantity, in this case 3 different ones, and then 19, and then going down to the lowest, you can see. And I could have said ascending instead of descending, ASC. In this way it will be the opposite. So it will show from lowest to the highest. So you can see we saw quantity 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3, etc. So this is going from lowest to the highest in this case. Okay, then the aggregate functions you have, so you can do in SQL, you have some average count. Similarly, you have the same thing. You can use the functions of sum, average, etc. And of course, then you'll have to aggregate by using the group by. So you can imagine the kind of like the pivot table that we discussed, that you can aggregate the functions. So now if I go here and I say, select region, sum, says, okay. So basically what I'm saying is, for the same example we were looking at, region, right? Then the sum of, in this case, sales amount, right? So I would say sales amount, let's see, as sales underscore AMT from this is my table, and then I will say group by region. So what are we saying here? What I'm saying is select region and give me the sum of their sales by region, basically. So right, if I do this on this query, so you can see that's showing east, north, south, west, and what's the total sales as their sum. So we just aggregated and we have grouped them based upon each region, what their total sales have been. Initially we had, so if I again just do this right here, select all, you have each day, each different regions, and then different products. What we said here is, okay, forget about what product, all I care, West region, how much they did all together as a region, how much North did. And this is exactly what we're saying. We're saying select by region, the sales amount, the sum of their sales amount, and then group them by region. So when I do this, you just really quickly get East, how much did total sales, North, and then you could have also added by the products. So in case if I need to know what, not only the region, but what products, so I can do that as well. And then I will say group by region and product. So now if you notice that what's going to happen, let's see, was that the product, was the name of the field? Yeah. So now you can see that not only each region, but by each, and then which product it had, and then what's the total sales have been. So you have East headphones, you have East keyboard, North headphones, North keyboard. So not only by region, by product. And of course you could have removed the regions, you just care only by the product. So you can just do this and then do it again. And now you'll have by each product. So you can see how different ways you can manipulate really quickly and get the data that you need, the information you need, really just by clicking a few and typing in a short queries. Obviously these are very basic queries, but once you have the strong foundation, this is where you'll build and you'll come to those complex queries, etc. But hopefully this makes sense. This video is getting long, so I will stop here. Again, it's not that we can learn everything about SQL in one video. It's not that we can cover every single function in one video, but hopefully this gives you some idea how easily, and the good thing about this SQL language is like pretty much like an English, easy English. So once you understand the basic commands, you can start from there, and then you can build upon and work and practice is the main thing. I would say watch this video again, download the Microsoft SQL Server so that you can start practicing, unless you already have some access at your work, and this way you can practice. Really, that's the main key thing. Start with something basic, understand it, grab it, understand the reasoning, what this query does, and then from there practice it. I really hope that you find this video tutorial valuable, and the time spent valuable, and you learn something new. Like always, my request only is please like, share, and subscribe, and just leave your comments. Tell me if this is something you find valuable and it helps you. Obviously, that would be like the most rewarding thing for me to know that this information helped you. So thank you again. Till next time, have a good day. Bye.